Welcome and welcome back to Authentic Lourdes OnAir Podcast. And with us, we have Alexander from the Fox Wellness Den.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on, Lourdes.
Yay. I am so
Awesome.
grateful that we get to connect like this today because, funny enough, when we met, we were at Casa de Luz. I was offering readings, and Alexander came up, and I'll let him share with you a little bit about that.
I will. And I was going through a little bit of a tough time in my life, and it was just a lot of confusion and feeling a little bit lost of like, okay, I know I'm meant to be here in Austin, but what else gets to happen, you know? And I saw Lourdes and I was very intrigued by her aura and her table. And I saw tarot and I was like, okay, I'll take a chance. So I believe you were doing it for like donation based at that time. And
Pay what you feel. Yeah.
yeah, and I think all I literally had was like $6 on me. So I just was like, here, give me like one card, two cards, or whatever. And she ended up giving me like this beautiful reading. And I can't remember the exact cards, but I do remember how she made me feel. And what actually came about from me was tears of like big self realizations and just the way that she read the cards and how it was just so deeply resonated like with my soul and just like the knowingness of like, wow, this is true. This gets to happen. I don't know how, but I know the feeling of it, and it's starting to come to fruition even more so after that reading.
And I remember those cards, some of them anyway. There were some king cards on the table. And with your name, Alexander, I remembered I was like, oh, that's the name of a king. I was like, what the heck? So, and the beauty was you had just moved back to Austin, right?
Pretty close to it.
Okay.
I think like within a month or two, I think is when I met you.
You had just moved back. Okay.
Yeah.
And you
Sure. I'm quite
you were
literal.
shifting like yeah, like re-entering into that
Mm.
like career field if you were. You're already in the career field of energy work, tarot readings, all the things, right? Supporting people in Reiki, Reiki mastery, all of it. It's just so beautiful. And I felt immediate soul brother. I was like, "Oh wow, this is a soul brother. How beautiful, so exciting to meet you." Like, yes. So that was my experience on that end on that day. And I knew like, oh, we're gonna be able to like play together. Yay. But I could tell, I was like, you're gonna have a level up and it's gonna be incredible. And that's what I remembered from your reading. I was like, and of course,
Mm.
now you months later, you're like, wait, what? Like we're not at a year, but we're almost, it was like April or May, right?
Yeah, I think it was
Oh,
like April.
March.
I think no, because I moved in April. I
Okay.
came back April 8th, right before the solar eclipse, and I'm pretty sure we met in either May or June. I
No,
think it was
no, it
May.
had to be, it had, I, no, it had to be May.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I trust.
that's awesome. Oh
Going
my
good.
God, that is, and so I love that. I mean, not quite a year yet, right? And so much has
No.
changed for you. What has also stood out to me as I've gotten to know you, and like, since one of the big things we do on this podcast, right, is talk to leaders who are doing things differently. Alexander is such a poster child for this because like he has trusted his own journey to follow his intuition onto what is the next step to live life and to do the thing. And so he's not living the like his career path is very different than most people that I know. And the miracles that he has been a part of to hold the energy for is literally like Jesus level stuff. It's really exciting. It really blesses my soul. And I'm so grateful that you have gifted me all sorts of beautiful energetic information as well to like support me on my own journey. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But can you give us a little bit of background about like how did you even step into trusting this career path and this your freaking journey with this because you're not from Texas.
No, I'm born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, and probably literally had the thought of like, oh, I'm gonna be here forever. I don't know how I'd see myself living anywhere else. But with being able to trust in the journey, it really started to happen when um in 2019 when I started to see things called synchronicities. And it's funny because I had actually studied Carl Jung in college and then even read a few of his books like later. And of course, none of that really integrated into me until like way later because Carl Jung's all about shadow work and synchronicity and, believing that like everything is like God consciousness. And when I started to see my first synchronicities to Alabama, like living in South Euclid, Ohio, I would see an Alabama license plate on my dead end street. I would see um like an Alabama like sign like at a farmer's market. I heard two different people talking about Alabama, like, oh, I'm going back home to Alabama or my husband's traveling to Alabama. And then I started to get more excited. I was like, what's going on with Alabama? Like, why me from Cleveland, Ohio, getting things for Alabama? Like, why would I even go there?
Hmm.
And then, like, lo and behold, my roommate's like, hey, there's this music festival. So we got the whole gang, like 10 of us, driving down to Alabama for this music festival. And then it just opened up my reality. Just like, wow, this was like truly meant to be. I had a spiritual awakening down there, and it literally just changed my whole life.
Okay, well, just to back up for just a moment,
Okay.
can you give us a definition for synchronicities? And what were a couple you were seeing? I mean, you did tell us, but yeah, just helping give a background to like anyone who hasn't really thought about all the synchronicities that happen in life.
Mm-hmm. So, if for me, my reality, as I will explain it, is a synchronicity is a sign that could literally come from like anywhere. It could be like maybe a license plate. It could be from maybe an Instagram ad or a post, or maybe you overhear someone talking about it, like in the
Or like
streets or in
repeated
restaurants.
things, repeated numbers, or repeated symbols, or is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. And they come in and they keep coming back to you in some kind of way, like showing itself, hearing itself. And then once you start to hear it more than like probably three or four times, it's like, yo, like the universe is knocking on your head on the door, getting your attention.
Yeah, beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. I'm grateful that you share that because we could ignore those. I know that I have for years. And then when I stopped ignoring them, I
Yep.
realized, oh my God, there's more flow in my life. There's less resistance happening. Oh, yes, please, and thank you.
What was the biggest synchronicity that you had that was, that like kept coming over and over and like it just was on repeat?
The biggest one on repeat, and it's still a reminder today, is for your career path. Tune into your intuition to do so. Like keep using your intuition, which I define as my five senses tapped in, tuned into, extended, and expanded. I
Mm,
might not see ultraviolet rays. I might not see UV, the red light. Oh my God,
infrared.
thank you, infrared. But
Yeah.
they're still actually being emitted by the sunlight, and my body is still processing them. It's still touching and passing through. My brain is still processing that information. So it's still all a part of, just because I can't see it, I'm still
Right.
feeling it. I'm still experiencing it. And so
Mm.
that's how I've seen the more I tune into my intuition and allow that to be what I use as I, read the tarot, as I
Yep.
feel called
Mhm.
to work with someone, talk with someone, connect with someone, right? So for me, that message that I've heard in multiple pick a card tarot readings, or people will just walk up to me and just say that to me, you're supposed to follow your intuition. Or just like all sorts of random ways it comes in. I hear it. I'll see it somewhere, right? Online, like out of nowhere. If you
Mhm.
saw the way that the algorithm feeds me on YouTube information, it's hilarious and it's all over the map. Everywhere from business to TED Talks, right? To tarot readings to um like
Wow.
I'm trying, oh my God, some scientific, right, discoveries and all sort, like it's wild. I just can't handle it. to fashion to like what's happening in the luxury industry. I mean, it's just wild. My algorithm, it'll show me certain people and then later it won't show them again until maybe a year later because it's like time for me to tune back into that individual. Anyway, but thank you for
That,
asking.
wow, that literally just happened to me. And we've talked about this, a guy named Preston Smiles. He's back into my life now, and I think I'm going to do his retreat in April.
Oh, so bridge.
Yes, Bridge.
Beautiful. I did Stretch 22, literal life changer. I know we
Yeah.
talked about that, but I'm just sharing with the rest of you. Literal life changer. I am so grateful. Return on investment is still fucking dropping in. Not a lie.
Dropping dollars, dropping bucks.
I keep meeting people that like have connected to that community before. They've recommended me to connect with someone else. It's too beautiful. It's just been really lovely.
Wow.
I'm very grateful. Very,
Okay.
very grateful for that.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you for the extra confirmation.
Yeah, so if you're feeling it, fucking jump. It's like jump.
Just do it.
Yeah, I have a couple of friends who just wrapped up with that. So it's exciting for me to share on here. I'm like, yes, talk about Preston, Lexi. Yeah,
Very exciting. Good for them. It's a big deal.
beautiful. And
Mhm.
okay, so we were talking about these synchronicities and then you making your way down to the South. You went to
Yeah,
Alabama, you went to this music festival, you had a great type of awakening.
that's right. Should I talk about the awakening or?
Well, I would love to hear like how did you make your way back down to Texas? And like when did you more than that, when did you start entering into the energy work sphere and like tarot and like all of this? Like your career path is not like everyone else's. It's so odd and most people would think it's not even an option. And
Yeah,
it is an option. Like
yeah,
you and I are living proof of like the things that we do that are so different and so fun and we make money to survive and to save and more and it's fun. So it's just like, oh my God, this is more delicious than, that 9 to 5 situation. So yeah.
yeah. So actually, how I got started with energy healing was when I got to Alabama. There was a woman who was having like a drug overdose on the beach at the festival, and she was like literally in the fetal position, like going in and out of consciousness. And I looked at her and I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" She's like, she's like trying to like say like sitting down. I feel better sitting down. And then I was like, "Man, this can't be happening right now. Like we're at the greatest music festival on the planet. It's so high vibe. It's amazing. Grizz is performing. We're with our closest friends." And I was like, what can I do to heal this woman? Like, I've never asked the question before of that, or even used the word like healing. Like, I'm not that spiritual even at that time. So I got this download that said a ball of energy. So I started making this ball of energy, pretending it was like a basketball, a soccer ball, and just dancing with it. And then I looked at her and I said, hey, get ready. She's like, wait, what? And I said, get ready. She said, okay. So I jumped up in the air.
And mind you, you said she's high on something, right? She's
Yeah. Yeah. But like I was able to get her consciousness back
yeah.
because she was so confused and it's all that she was focused on. It was just like, what the fuck is Alexander doing? So I jumped up in the air and then I slammed this ball of energy at her. And then like I went back to dancing. And then all of a sudden, like 10 seconds later, I looked over there. She's just dancing like there's no tomorrow, standing up, smiling, and just doing like a very slow swim. And then 4 months later, became a Reiki master in Cleveland,
Wow,
Ohio.
that's incredible.
Yeah, I told everyone that story. People thought I was crazy. People thought I was nuts. Some people were like, oh my God,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Like, oh, you have to go talk to this person and that person. And I was like, okay, so this is real. There's actually something out here for what I just did. And then, and then
Yeah.
lo and behold, 2 months after I became a Reiki master, I went to basically Buffalo, New York, Casa Dega. And then I studied under two shamans for the next 2 years, just traveling back and forth from Cleveland to Buffalo like every weekend. Yeah.
Okay. That's
So
incredible. Thank you for that.
yeah. And then
I love
everything.
that you're like, get ready.
And it still happens to this day. Like there's people that come to me like, oh, I feel like I have food poisoning or like cough drop or something. And I'm just like, yo, give me 1 minute of energy healing. And it freezes them. It shocks them because it's not like anything they've ever heard of. And then they're just like so curious. And that's like one of the best things. As soon as someone can just be curious, reel them the fuck in and let them experience the power of magic, power of healing, power of
That,
Christ.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the reminder to me that you opened yourself up to that day with that woman when you said, what can I do to heal her? You asked the question. You got
Yeah.
curious. And so God is like, I got you here. Create this energy ball to gift her. I'm
Doesn't matter.
laughing, but it's so beautiful.
I mean, I was just about to say, like, God's like, just do your thing, Alex. You got the download. Do whatever feels good for you, and then just fucking give it to her.
Exactly.
It's amazing. Like, how does like
So,
God speaking to us is
yeah,
wow.
that's precious. Oh my goodness. I remember there was a lot of gatekeeping the way that I was raised, where
Mm,
we were
okay.
told that God didn't speak directly to us. He only spake through the word that was in the Bible. So yeah, that was so interesting, being so limited to feeling so um there's so much gatekeeping to being connected to God in such a beautiful, rich, incredible way. And I understand everyone has a different relationship, right, to life,
Mm,
universe,
mhm.
God, however you connect and express. I understand and I respect. And so yeah, but I'm able to very interchangeably, use all these words like, yeah, I don't know. For me, Reiki, while it's special, I understand that
Mhm,
and
mhm.
and is a verb, and it's also a noun, and I use it more often as a noun than I do as a verb for and I'm saying that shit, and it's true, it is used as a noun too for the actual title of Reiki that is taught formally. But when I
Okay.
speak of it,
Mhm.
I'm mostly
Yes.
speaking of it as just what it is, energy, vital life force,
Yeah.
prana, like all these
Mhm,
beautiful things. It's
mhm.
and one day I was telling someone that I was sending them Reiki, and they were like, "Oh, you have to get my consent first." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that like I'm just saying I'm sending you beautiful energy."
If
But
you would
I
have said it
respect.
like that, then
Right?
it
But it's like the same thing. Same thing. And I understand, like, it does help to have that formal name when we're in a mode where we're
Mhm, mhm.
actually, I mean, I get it. I get
Yeah,
it.
right? People are so fascinating these days of just like how they perceive things and like how they hear them and then like how they're like taking it in,
Yeah.
you know? Like
Yeah.
with your friend, like, hey, can I send you some Reiki energy? It's like, oh, I need your consent first. If you would have just said, hey, I'm going to send you some peaceful, loving, chill, healing vibes, it would have been like, oh, cool, dude. Thank you, you know?
Or you're praying for me, you could pray for me any day. I've had people use that
Yeah.
as a like almost battled term. You know what I mean? Like they use the word prayer, almost as if they're like saying, "Oh, I'm praying for you, you poor thing," and it's like, "Oh, sweet, thank you for praying for me." I'm like, "More prayer, yes, please." That's how I receive it. I don't think of it as like, but I do recognize sometimes people have that attitude, but it's okay. You know what? However I get to receive it is how it's received. Even if they
Mm.
have an interesting intention, it's really not my problem.
But usually when people say I'm going to pray for you, usually that's a pretty good thing.
Mhm.
Usually, I mean, it's usually not like, oh my God, dear God, I want Susie to stub her toe on the side of her bed. Like I don't think a lot of people are doing that. I think are just like,
Right. It's just interesting. A lot of people in church communities, which could mean so many things. When I say church communities, that means one or more gathered, right? Like two or more gathered, right? Church. Having said that, a lot of the people I grew up with in my past would say that when they felt sorry for you or they thought that you were going down a wrong path or whatever.
Mm.
And I get it. I understand. It's okay. It is, again, I'll receive the prayers. That's beautiful to me. Whatever you're praying, it will be translated and inferred to me the way it's designed to by all of life.
That's so powerful. It's like
All
you
that
put
to
like
say
a
is we're talking
veil.
about consent.
Yeah, it's like you put a veil like on top of their prayer. So like when their prayer goes up and out, then it gets alchemized by your belief with that energetic field veil.
Yeah, that's very powerfully said. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not afraid for anyone to pray for me or send me Reiki or love or positive or whatever the hell.
Well, that's sovereignty.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hmm.
And the false idea of sovereignty is that, oh, you have to have my consent to do this, that, or the other. And it's like, okay, cool. And I understand consent is
Yeah,
a
get it.
beautiful thing. I'm
Hmm.
just explaining when you're just sending a breath to an individual, right? Like we receive that breath. Like you're not gonna, you know what I mean? Like, so it is, it's
I'll
like,
be
it's the science behind things is so beautiful and so practical. It's kind of funny, but it's okay. We're all sharing the same CO2 and the same oxygen.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. And no one's protesting about that.
Or some are, but it's okay. Their life kind of sucks.
Hey, that's my air follicle, man. I need that oxygen. That's
They're
my
like,
only air.
those people should be dead. They shouldn't be breathing the same air we are. It's like, oh, okay. But
Oh
I get
yeah.
it. We're allowed to judge and we get to learn. Like, are we going to judge compassionately or critically? I get it.
Mm, mm. People fascinate me.
Amen.
Yeah.
I'm extremely entertained. You know me. I like sitting with my popcorn. I will never forget, and I will always appreciate when I sent you a voice message of me. I was word vomiting to you, and you were like, "That was a very long word vomit. I don't have the space for that." And I was like, "Oh, that's okay. Thank you for letting me know." But I never do that to you, right? And I did that one time, and you said someone else did at the same time, and so that was like a lot for you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was a long time. And I'm
And
just like,
I respect that. I'm laughing. It's not funny. I'm listening.
yeah, yeah. No, you're good. It's just like when someone sends like 7 or 8 minutes long, like, I even put it like on 1.5 so it speeds up a little bit. And I'm grateful that Instagram has that feature because I feel like I can, even though I know we're supposed to like slow down at times, but people have a lot to
At
say
times.
at
At
times.
times.
It's a marathon, right? We can speed up or we can slow down. Mhm. Yeah.
That's great. Now, so you were saying that moving through, you began to work with Reiki more. You began to do some more shamanic practice. And yeah, what brought you to Texas?
So there was one point where I wasn't going to have a place to live in Cleveland. I was about to be homeless, not broke. I still had a lot of good money, but like yeah, I just didn't have a job. I couldn't really show that I was like making money in other ways that, you know,
Okay, the ways for you to get rent, to rent a formal place. Got it.
yeah, we'll leave it at that. Um, People back home know the answer to that. They know. Anyways, when I had like just moved out of my buddy's place and they were like smoking and drinking still and partying and I knew like that phase of my life was over. So I moved into like this spiritual home with two really good dudes. And then 2 months in, the landlord said, "Hey, I'm going to sell the house." And I was like, and I thought about living here for like 6 months, get my stuff together, and then, find something else to do. And yeah, no, that was not the case. And then I tried to move back into my parents' house. That didn't work. I couldn't find a place for me to rent and nothing that really felt good at all. And so I was like, all right, God, you're my only hope. help me, God, you are my only hope. And Star Wars fans will recognize that one. I prayed to him, Father, help me. I don't know what to do. I am confused. I am lost. I seriously need some help. I don't care what it is. I trust you. Just bring it forth to me and I will take the action. And it took about a week, week and a half until I started seeing signs. And it all started with me being at a full moon ceremony in Sugar Falls, Ohio, where my friend mentioned, hey, I want to do retreats in Costa Rica. And we're like, oh, that's freaking awesome. I could totally see you doing that. And then, like a week later, my friend was having a birthday party, and I noticed that there was a pickup truck parked in the like on this median, because like where people live, like people parked in the median, like on the main road. Cool, but also dangerous. And there was a Costa Rican license plate on the front of the car. And then I just started hearing and seeing Costa Rica all the time in Cleveland, Ohio, right? And then basically at the end of it, a woman told me when I was at like this like New Year's Eve party, she said, "You're supposed to go to Costa Rica, aren't you?" And she's like a psychic medium, and I didn't even tell her anything. And I was like, "Yeah, I am." She goes, "You're supposed to go sooner rather than later." And I was like, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah, like probably in like 2 or 3 weeks, you should go." And I was like, "Holy shit." And then I really thought about it and I meditated on it that night. And it was just like, start your new year in Costa Rica. And I was like, done, done. That was the message I got. So flew to Costa Rica, one-way ticket. And then on the first night I got to Costa Rica, I got this download that said, you're supposed to go to Peru, Austin, Texas, and Alaska. And I was like, this is my first night in Costa Rica. Why are you telling me to go to 3 more places? So I
Wow.
spent so I spent the next 2 months in Costa Rica, and I literally got synchronicities to Texas. I kept meeting people from Austin. I kept seeing the Longhorn symbol, like the UT mascot, and then Texas hats and these jerseys and like San Antonio and all this stuff. And it happened for like 2 months. And even when I was in Peru, South America, I still saw Texas memorabilia worn by Peruvians. And I don't even think they know what UT of Texas was. I don't even think they knew
Wow.
what that was. They just liked what it looked like and wore
Yeah.
it. And I
Yeah.
would see it. And then my mind was going bananas.
By
Macadamia
the way, my ear is ringing like crazy right now. So I'm paying attention because I'm like, oh my God, you must be speaking a lot of like something I'm supposed to hear right now. Received. Okay.
Okay, okay, sweet. Yeah, that download will come and blossom in Godspeed. Oh yeah. So, and then yeah, then I went to Peru and then I came back to Ohio and was basically like, I'm moving to Austin, Texas. So I moved to Austin,
And what
Texas,
year was
2022.
it? Okay.
So this, I'm going to try to
I was in
short.
Mexico.
You were in Mexico. Oh, so cool.
I was in Mexico at the time, and I had also heard to go to different places. So I was in Brazil when I heard to go to Mexico. So
Oh my God, it's hilarious. It's like, oh, you're in
yeah,
the wrong
yeah,
spot. Wait, what? But no, you're always meant to be where
yeah.
you are
No
landing.
questions asked.
Yeah. So I actually moved to Texas for like um in like the summer, and then like I had a place to stay for a little bit. I was trying to find my footing, and long story short, it didn't work out. It ended with me getting kicked out of a house at 11 p.m. at night for doing Reiki energy on a woman with her permission. Her boyfriend kicked me out. He put me in a hotel, and then I literally left for Ohio the next morning and got there in 3 days. I just said, fuck this. Like, I know I'm supposed to be in Texas. Actually, on my way home, I had a Texas license plate literally following me all the way from Kentucky until I got to basically in between Columbus and Cleveland. And that's like 6 hours. It was the same car. It was like literally going in front of me. And then like I would go in front of it. So I always saw Texas in my rear view mirror or right in front of me. And I was like, I'm going
Wow.
back.
Wow.
I just don't
Thank
know
you for
when.
that share. Here it is.
Yeah. So then when I went back to
And I know
Cleveland,
people are allowed to say it's a coincidence, but it's just so powerful when you
it,
already had an inner knowing that that was where.
yeah. And the fact that synchronicity still didn't fail me, you know, it's God speaking through. So went back to Ohio and I figured out what I'm actually supposed to do. So I started hosting events for Reiki and meditation. And then after 2 months, I said, okay, Texas, let's go. Went back there in September, found a place to live. I got a job at Casa de Luz, literally within the first month of me living there, started teaching classes, started getting some one-on-one clients. And then, yeah, so that's how I got to Texas.
Wow. Okay, that's powerful. Again, trusting because you had no leads, no place to live, no anything. Like it's all started opening up as you went and
This,
trusted the process.
the second time I went there, I didn't know anybody. The first time I did, I knew people, but they weren't like spiritual people. They weren't the people that were really supposed to help my soul. You know what I'm saying?
Oh. And
Well,
somehow
they
they
did.
still did. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they
Like,
still
I
did.
know, I hear
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, yeah. But like, not in the way in the way that it
Yeah,
had to
the
happen.
next level that's more feels more expansive. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. They were helping you ground some roots down in a
Yeah.
weird way.
In a weird, energetic way, and then still try to bring me down, but knowing that like I didn't even contact any of those people when I went back. I just said, you know what, forget them. They're in their own reality. I'm gonna start over brand new, didn't know anybody, and
It's
look
funny.
at
I
me.
try to reconnect to people from my past. I was just in San Antonio living there for a while, and I was trying to connect with people, and it wasn't meant to be, and that's okay. I trust that. But I love
Yeah.
to be able to reach
Hmm.
out just so they know, like, I'm still here. If you still, and they would say they want to connect, but we just didn't make it happen. And I trust that. I trust the process.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen to that. Yeah. I try to reconnect with some people back here in Austin, and I would probably say most of them I rarely talk to anymore
Yeah. Yeah.
from the
It
first time.
opens up as it's supposed to.
Yeah. And I still see them every now and then. Maybe there's a hug or a quick surface level conversation, but it's like we're so different now.
Mm.
We're so different.
That's cool. And it's funny, I would say I'm very same. I'm very much the same. I just do very different work than I ever did. I'm still Lourdes. I just do
Yeah,
very
you
different.
are.
I used to like be in sales and do all this other stuff. And so it's really fun actually like, yes, I'm still in product development and sales and working with people, helping open up their throats and being the witch and the preacher, right? And it's just so much fun to support people in so many ways. I never like I had heard it being called out since 2018. Someone did a
Okay.
tarot reading for me in 2018 and I was, or maybe it was 2019, I was shook.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was so shook. I was like, so it was my connection to the tarot and how I began to pay attention because I was like, how could these fucking cards call out my ass in so many ways? I was mind blown.
Uh-huh.
Everything in the cards were somebody they didn't know me. Somebody read for me who didn't know me and was like, "You're supposed to be working for yourself. You're supposed all these things." They're like, because I was asking about a job, and so like there were a couple of opportunities, and they're like, "Well, this is what's happening if you go down this way. This is what happens if you go down this way, and what you're designed to do is work for yourself." I didn't trust it until 2021, and even then, I still held myself back. It
So
wasn't until 2022 that the doors opened.
so 3 years then from that
The
tarot reading
reading
to
happened
when
3 years
you
before. Yeah, yeah.
wow.
It was wild. And I was on a twin, I've been on a twin flame journey since 2018. That's been incredible, has been literally um, evolved me faster than any time I've ever had, is being on
That,
this journey and connecting to souls that mirrored me to learn things about myself.
That's literally one of the greatest spiritual awakenings one could have, is being in a relationship, for sure. Oh yeah. I feel like that's how probably, I don't want to say like a vast majority, but probably a little bit bigger than the majority of people that, have a spiritual awakening had to come from some kind of relationship that went south or bad or sour, or somehow you're able to fix and mend and blossom into like these brand new flowers.
Yeah. Yeah. Every one of them, whether they've been romantic, business partnership, whatever, even recently, a new business partner came into my life. And then out of nowhere,
Wow.
literally a few days later, after like about a week later, after connecting and us starting to do the thing and like money starting to transaction, they were like, I don't want to work with you. And I was like, okay, beautiful. Like I wasn't surprised because I could see where they were coming from, but they were so excited to work together and to provide the product that I have and everything. And I was like, wow, how beautiful. Okay, then let's dance. And then they shut it down. And I was like, okay, I trust that. And so, interestingly enough, they sent me an email. That's how
Hmm.
they decided to break up the partnership. Isn't that funny? They sent me an email and were trying to blame their partner for their romantic partner for the reasons why my thing wasn't going to work out. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. I respect your decision to not, carry my product. And I'm super glad for our connection. And I, um, I'm looking forward to seeing you at this event that you're hosting, and
Hmm.
thank you for inviting me. And I'll come this day to pick up product if that's okay with you. And here is my competitors for the market that I'm in. Send some links. Here are the reviews for my product from a couple of different companies. And here is, yeah, just sending hugs, right? Like I literally sent
Oh.
all that. Like I'm not here to negotiate or anything. Like we already did negotiate. So for you to
Hmm.
come to try to tell me that all of a sudden your partner's not comfortable with my prices, I'm like, that's cute. When you told me you run your business. And and with all of that, still you are a sovereign being and you get to make an agreement. And I like respect that. So
Mm.
yeah, it was really powerful.
Yeah, good for you for just remaining like level-headed. Because I feel like sometimes the Cleveland in me just wants to be like, man, that's a weak response, or I'm not trying to swear anymore, but
Eh,
like
okay.
like try to like have judgment and be like, man, that's
Yeah,
some
well,
weak
I
stuff right
promise
there.
you, I promise my ego was like, fuck you, you're ridiculous. And I love you. I promise everything was in there in that moment. But
Hmm.
obviously,
Yeah.
when I respond to them, I respond from that level headed place. But
Yeah,
like,
naturally.
yeah, fuck you. I'm
But
still
have a
human,
nice day.
motherfucker. Yeah, and I do. I'm glad I've met this person and I'm glad we've got in touch. And
Hmm.
okay, we're in different places, and that's why you're falling off. I understand that, and it doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. But of course, the part that bothered me was trying to throw in your partner. The decisions end with them, which is like, you can lie to me all you
Yeah.
want, baby. I'm
Yeah,
in.
but we know deep down.
Like it's okay, you're allowed to lie. And I know you're lying. Like we hold the truth to both of those things and
Mm.
bring respect first for yourself and then for the other. Whole nother level of business relationships you get into. And you can deal with
Hmm.
politics at a whole new level.
Oh yeah. Amen to that. Jeez, you could totally flip the script of like how life can actually be lived,
That's what I'm observing.
depending
And
on perception.
yeah, and this is what I know that you know how to do, and I know how to do, and a few people that I know, which is why I recommend people connect to these people.
Mhm.
We know how to look at things from multiple perspectives so that we can come in with more compassion first for us as the individual, right? Like as the client I'm working with, we're going to bring in all the compassion for you, teach you how to bring in that compassion for you so that then you're able from the overflow to offer it to other people so that you could have the most incredible relationships you've ever had in your entire life.
Speaking facts, folks. This is literal, like spiritual education right here.
Yeah, and Alexander is one of these people who understand the soul connections and how to navigate them with with more grace and ease and respect.
Hmm. Yeah, that's so true. And it's been such a liberating experience when you can just let go, surrender, be a really great person, and be of service. And your energy starts to grow, your awareness grows, and your love for others grows even more. Your understanding of just where people are at in their lives grows and evolves. It's amazing.
What have you Okay, God, actually, there's so many ways to take this, but I do actually really want to hear what are your future plans for how you want to grow the Fox Wellness Den? And not just that, but where you see yourself in, this growth. And I'm not even putting a time frame on it because that shit could happen in like a couple of days or it could happen in 2 years. So, like, what quantum leaps are you, already envisioning? That's the question.
So I love that question. Thank you. And there has been more stuff coming into my reality as of late that are like long-term things. So one is opening up like a wellness center or like a retreat center somewhere in Cleveland, Ohio. I still want to be of service to my
Okay.
hometown folks. I do love being there. I don't know if I
And
can
you
live
say
there.
that, and
Go ahead, go ahead.
And you say that, and the truth is, you already do have events happening there throughout the year at different times. And so I
Yeah,
just want to make sure we're really clear that people realize you host events in Austin,
yeah,
you host events in Cleveland. And so that's why you're looking to have an established place over there.
yeah,
Okay.
truly. And yeah, I just feel such a strong pull with it. And I know it's going to take some time before it happens because I feel like I have much more to learn and to grow down here. And then being able to take everything I've learned and bring it back to Cleveland and really set something up for everyone's
Okay.
future in some way, shape, or form. So, yeah. And then I would say going back and forth from Cleveland to Austin and being able to host events and help other people grow into their gifts to be of service and to really, I guess just set like a new foundation of, event hosting and healings and people coming together for community. That would be very special. And I think that's something we can all really grow into as souls, as people, and getting resources for abundance so that life can be easier lived in the most gracious, loving ways that God wants to provide for us.
Yeah, that's my observation. The more we're tuned into all these different energies and archetypes and symbolisms, the more we learn about that and learn to read it and learn to navigate it, we can return back to peace mode a little more quickly when shit hits the fan. Like that's my observation.
Yeah.
Of course, weird stuff still happens to me, and I'm super grateful because of the way I navigate it. It's like it happens with more ease and grace. You said it.
Yeah. And, intention goes where energy flows, right? So if you're having, a morning that's not great, stuff keeps going south and, you're in that downward spiral yourself and you're like, wow, okay, like my whole day is just fucked.
Yeah.
Like, what, like, maybe, right? But what
And
if you,
especially if you declare it and you think
especially,
it.
okay, order in the court, it's done. Meeting adjourned. Um, your choices will determine how the rest of your day get to go. It's like, wow, all right, I can live like that. I can let that succumb me and I can go down like this very bad river with all these rocks and all these trees. I'm going to get bumped around and nothing's going to flow. It's just like, okay, take a breath, pause, find some stillness, be like, okay, I know that happened, but what can I do to make a better choice with it? Like, how can we do to fix this or evolve this, and find the common ground, get everyone or even just yourself on the same page, and then keep moving forward.
Yeah. That's really beautiful and really powerful. I want to insert here that
Okay.
like this man has so many stories that he could share with you about miracles that have happened that again he's helped support the environment for, etc. Like Oh my God, there's so much that you can glean from spending time with Alexander. So if you're able to get into his space, he has things that happen here in Austin, like I said. And if you want to fly down or up to Austin, you can do that, or to Ohio. But yeah, share a little more about the things you offer here, or
Yeah.
even virtually. True, that's true.
Yeah. So in person, well, even virtually too, I do event hosting. So I host events for somatic breath work and Reiki energy. So we get people to come into like a meditative state, and we dive deep into our life force energy, our prana, our breath, to really help clear out stresses and anxieties. And um, one of my friends, Lisa, her favorite word is crunchy, like get the crunchiness out of you, or like the stagnant energy, or even like worry, sadness, self-doubt, limiting beliefs, all that. You have a chance to really let that
All the disharmony.
ooh,
Bring it
all
to
the
harmony.
disharmony into harmony. Hmm. And I love that. That's great. And you can use something so natural as your breath to help clear all that out. And then we go into like healing with Reiki, and then we go into repatterning rounds to help you like manifest and get you into a really great state where you can feel so good just being you. And yeah, so we do that with events. I do that with like one-on-ones, and virtually I'm expanding my website. We're going to do like an online subscription, and I'm going to have like a bunch of content and a bunch of courses for people to dive into and to go at the pace that feels good for them, not to get overwhelmed. So, yeah. And then we also
I'm
do,
so excited. I'm over here jumping up and down. I'm like, yes, yes. Not to mention, don't you already have a video on the nervous system?
I do, yeah, regulating your nervous system. Yeah, you can
There
find that
you
at my
go.
website.
At his website, all the info is going to be down below in the description box here for you to see. Cause yeah, this dude's got gems. He's dropping pearls of wisdom that can support you, and there's various ways to connect. So, but to continue, you're saying.
Yeah, thank you. I love that. Yeah, everyone feels so amazing after like working with me. They just get the clarity, they feel clear, they get the downloads and the light codes, and they have like more faith to like open up into this newness, this other reality that's really happening around us. And it's really just starting to believe in yourself and accept the things that are happening, and receiving, learning to receive and learning how to give it back out. And yeah, and then I love going back to Cleveland, and like we're actually hosting an event in Cleveland December 20 or December past that, April 26th. April 26th in Willoughby, Ohio. I'll put some details down for that at a later date.
Excellent.
We're get,
Thank you.
still
Perfect.
getting, yeah. Um, you can reach out for me for more of that too. And
I'm guessing, do you have a page on your website that does have events coming?
yeah, it's just about finalized, and as soon as the studio gets it all set up on their end, then I'll add it to my website. Um, so yeah, but just love finding ways to be of service, and we're going to do some different things. So it's not just breath work and Reiki all the time. We're going to try to find some new exciting, um, exercises and little things that we can add to bring some more excitement, some more fun, and a more like memorable experience too, instead of just like, oh my god, I got this amazing epiphany, I'm gonna like sell all my stuff and live in my van, and do cool things. We want people to be like, oh yeah, I met, Joe, I met Ricky at this event, and they're just like really cool people. And I just keep meeting cool people, and like they just have fun stuff for us to do. I want people to keep talking about it even after the event, like days later, weeks later, months later, years later.
And creating community around it as well, like you're already doing,
Mhm.
connecting people together. Yeah. To
Yeah,
make new friends and new soul sisters and brothers. It's beautiful.
yeah, and bringing other communities together, because like I also bring facilitators in, and like they bring their people, and we have our people from the studio, and it just keeps growing and growing. And they're like, oh, what else do you offer? You know, and then people who are from our community are like, oh, when is the facilitator performing next? You know, it goes both ways.
I love that. I love that. That's epic. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. So where do we find you?
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram or Facebook at the Fox Wellness Den. And my website's also thefoxwellnessden.com. I also offer like multiple month packages for like soul healing journeys. And this is like where we really get to the nitty gritty stuff, all your nooks and crannies, anything that's blocking you or keeping you small, like in like these downward pit of despairs, like whatever the case may be. Like, we talk about it. We do a lot of ancient healing modalities like Reiki or sound or breath work or like EFT tapping or even psychic mediumship readings, Akashic records, tarot. We bring out all the stops. We really do. And just bring them forth into your reality. And we get to see you grow and change and start to feel really good about being yourself and finding out other ways to like learn and to grow and to expand your reality and to really know that change is possible. And there's no need to like keep living the life that you're living, even though you know that it sucks and you don't think there's a way out. Like, I want you to live free like a Mac Miller song.
Love that. Oh my God, that's awesome. Well, I am super excited to hear this. I am obviously looking forward to connecting too as I spend a little more time in Austin. I've been in Austin, then I was in San Antonio, then I was in Medellin, Colombia, and like, oh my
There
God,
you
I've
are.
just been in so many places. And I do feel like, yeah, there's a couple more coming this year, so I get to
Ooh.
connect with that. But I do feel like being grounded in Austin for a little bit. What were you saying?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you on how you've been to like so many places, and it's just been really exciting to like witness you on your journey and how you've evolved and helped other people from all different cultures, from all different ways of life. Like, that's so amazing.
I would not have realized like Mexico, Colombia, multiple countries in Europe. Like it's just been really interesting and I'm very excited to like see
Mm.
what's next. Why I call it the Authentic Lourdes World Tour. And I too will be hosting facilitating a workshop on in a retreat on a cruise from Vancouver to LA. So looking forward to that. This is going to be really fun in October. So wherever I am, I'm going to have to get my ass back to the US because that's happening.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
Libra season. So I
Great
also
for
on my
you.
event page have that info so that everyone could see.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Good for you. I'm so happy for you. That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And another
Good
a little
shit.
event that's happening, but it's happening super soon. Probably after this actually gets posted, but August 12th, I'm hosting off my own site somewhere for an event that is by an astrologer, Johnny. You know who Johnny is. He is
Oh yeah.
hosting a
Yeah, I know Johnny.
chakra astrology class. I'm so excited. So yeah, really looking forward to that for February the 12th with the full moon
Mm,
as well.
amazing.
There'll be cheese and crackers and tea. So come, come, come. There'll be coffee too.
Perfect. A lovely combo.
Yeah,
That's
in
awesome.
Austin. So anyway,
Yeah.
oh my goodness. So well, I can't emphasize if you guys ever feel like connecting with this man, do it in any and every way that you can. If it gets to be virtually, um, if it gets to be in person, if it gets to be in a class or solo one-on-one. This is definitely a beautiful soul to connect to. And hey, hit him up, send him a message, ask him a couple questions about real life shit and see how he responds. You'll see for yourself. You will see for yourself. You could tell him you saw him here on the Authentic Lourdes OnAir podcast.
I love your way of articulating words to describe people and like how you really see them. It's so sublime. You're amazing.
I see you, and I see King. Just saying, I see King energy, and this is a big reason why you're named Alexander Fox. Isn't it Alexander J. Fox?
Yes. Yes, it is.
That is so powerful, the whole name. And then you are the Fox Wellness Den. So yeah,
Mm.
oh my God, just I love it. I appreciate it. And I'll wrap up here. Don't go anywhere, but I'll wrap up here. And thank you guys so much for being here and looking forward to seeing you on the next Authentic Lourdes On Air podcast. Ciao.